wanted the best? You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Welcome to the big show, my family and friends. We certainly appreciate you guys being here. As always, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you. At least not as harsh as your mother-in-law. I'm sure she's a wonderful person, but she is judging you because you need to be better. I don't know. That's what she says. That's what she told me. Anyway, guys, she paid for that ad on the Chris Voss Show. As always, guys, refer the show to your family, friends, or relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss. See the big 130,000 group over there, the big LinkedIn newsletter. And also, we're starting to try and get cool on TikTok. It's not working. No, it's working. Go to Chris Voss 1 TikTok and the Chris Voss Show podcast as well. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite thing, dogs. I have 2 Siberian Huskies and had 4 over my lifetime, and other dogs when I was in my youth. And I love dogs because have you seen people lately? No, I'm just kidding. The more I get to know people, the more I love dogs, which is all the more important that they're healthy and live their best life. Plus, they're with us for a very short time. Unfortunately, you know, your family might be around longer. We know those family members, don't we? Anyway, the jokes aside, we have an amazing gentleman on the show. Gregory D. Sunvold is on this show. He's a PhD and founder, innovator, scientist, director, and scientific advisor and owner and Microbiome. We'll find out what that's about, of his pet company. And he sent us some samples here. The pet company is Sunvold Biotics. And we're going to be talking about his amazing stuff. With over 25 years of pet food industry experience and over 200 scientific publications, Dr. Greg Sunvold provides expert pet nutrition advice to improve and create many diverse pet products marketed globally. Having actively practiced in the field of microbiome throughout his entire career, he leverages his deep technical knowledge to actively identify ways to apply innovations arising from this area into the pet food industry. In his current corporate role at Cool Springs International, he's responsible for implementing nutritional innovations in hundreds of pet food products. And he founded Microbiome Health LLC, a company focused on applying innovative microbiome technologies into pet supplements in order to improve the health of these wonderful companions. Welcome to the show, Dr. Gregory. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on your show, Chris.
And thanks for coming. We got a full kit of your products on the Chris Voss Show. Here, we'll display some here on the thing if you're watching on the video. So give us a .com so people can find you guys on the interwebs.
Those products are at sunglacial.com. Sunglacial.com, Chris.
There you go. So tell us, give us a 30,000-foot overview of the company and what you guys do.
Sure. Yeah. So, you know, this has been a long time in the coming as far as where it's come from. But in essence, we market pet supplements specifically for dogs right now. We'll probably branch out into cats later on, but for now we're into dogs. And you know, it's not the only thing we do, but it's one thing, and it's really my way of you know, arguably trying to lead the industry into more and more health oriented products. It's not just about fun and delight. To me, it's about really serious science and putting that science into real world products that consumers like yourself and myself can use in our own pets, Chris.
There you go. You know, we hear about a lot of the products you have on the site deal with different issues, whether they're aging or, digestive performance. I take a lot of things, fiber and different things for digestive performance, and I try and focus on different things in my body. Probiotics is one of the things. I take things for joint care and bone health, calcium and stuff. And it seems like a lot of that's really important, and you guys provide that in a way that can be administered to dogs through their food. You've got different categories like boarding compilations, things for transition, stress, behavior, stiffness and soreness, separation issues. That's a big thing with huskies. Age, joint support, digestion, mobility, anxiety, traveling, and calming. You've got all these different, what would you call these, mixtures or compilations that can help dogs?
Yeah, well, you just listed a bunch of indications. Why would I,
Okay.
feed, a certain product to my pet?
Mhm.
And we've distilled those down into currently 4 products. We will continue to expand that lineup
Mhm.
because every pet is different. Every pet has maybe some different issues you have to deal with.
Mhm.
And so we try to address these different issues. The ones that we have currently are some of the biggest, most common issues, or in the case of mood, is something really near and dear to my heart. I think there's a lot of unmet needs in the consumer realm regarding anxiety and separation. Just the general attitude of the pet isn't right. So that product itself is specifically for those animals that are undergoing some sort of stress in their world that, just you want to do something more for them. So
Definitely. I mean, I've had dogs I've had Siberians tear through doors. I've had them dig under gates. I've had them get very, very upset. So, especially like fireworks, thunder and lightning
yep,
storms. We recently
yep,
had a thunder and lightning storm come in. So the 4 main products, I think we have them all here. There's one for seniors. There's one for mobility. So
yep,
probably joint care, things of that nature. One for mood, as we talked about, and then one for digestive performance, which is
yep.
probably important because if you've ever had a dog eat some crap and put it back up on your floor, it's not fun.
Well, let me tell you something. In 2017, I was kind of like thinking about my career. I'd been, past the mid milestone of my career, if you will, and thought, before I go too much more senile or get to the point where people just can't work with me, I need to focus on something. And the microbiome was it.
Hmm.
And the microbiome is transformative, in my opinion. It has to do with the gut. It has to do with what's going on in the gut. The microbiome is just a description of the environment of the gut, Chris.
Hmm.
And there are different, I call them tools, but basically ingredients that we can add. These are natural, naturally derived ingredients. No scary pharmaceutical stuff, but they're natural ingredients that you or I would even be willing to put on our mouths because they're human grade. And those ingredients we use in those products as well, because we believe that we can transform the microbiome, the gut. I like to say that good health starts in the gut, Chris.
Hmm.
And if you don't have the gut right, even if you have a joint issue in yourself or your pet, you're limiting your ability to address that if you don't get the gut right. And so all of these products have pre, pro, and postbiotics. They're full of biotics, and they're all customized depending on what the certain issue is, whether it's mood or digestive or senior or what have you. So.
There you go. So what is the microbiome? What is that?
Yeah, so it's this environment in the gut, and when we talk about the microbiome of the gut, it's what's going on inside the gut, in the tube,
Hmm.
if you will, that intestinal tube, your digestive system,
Hmm.
and on the tube or inside that tube, on the lining of that tube. And whether we like it or not, it just is. We're going to have literally trillions of bacteria in our digestive systems, and our dogs do as well. And it's just part of nature. It's what we call a symbiotic relationship. They're there to help us. But when they get off, or when some bad guys get involved, or maybe we don't eat right or feed our pets right, then there's something called dysbiosis, or an upsettedness that
Oh wow.
happens in that environment. And so again, we are trying to address this with ingredients that are known scientifically to do this. But it's a shame that there's not more of this being done in the pet industry, Chris, because I think we're driven a lot by marketing. We all are.
Mhm.
We're influenced by messages, and a lot of money is spent to do that. I'm a scientist. That's all I am. I'm just a scientist. I'm not a marketer. And so I said, let's form a line of products that I'm going to put the good stuff inside those products that really can help your pet. So if we sell a lot, great. If we help a few animals, that's really the goal. That's to improve dog health. So
There you go. And I mean, we've had doctors on the show that have written books about this. The gut health is like so imperative. In fact, there's some that have found that gut health can, if it's not healthy, can lead to brain swelling, and different issues with the body. Like, everything kind of revolves around our ability to digest right. I know that, well, I don't know this. You probably know this better than I would, but my understanding is that, if you take some penicillin for some sort of infection or something like
mhm.
that, it can kill the biomes in your gut.
Yeah,
I think alcohol is bad
yeah,
for
yeah,
your gut and can kill the biomes, and so you need to make sure those things are replaced. I mean, as a human being, I know that's a surprise to some in my audience. As a human being, I take probiotics, and I think a lot of people do now. You drink
yeah,
maybe some milk or some yogurt, or kefir. Kefir's a really big thing. But as our dogs, they're the same way. They have guts. They need to make sure they're clean there, and they've got all the stuff they need to break down stuff, and they certainly eat. They eat like bones and crap. And my
yeah.
dogs are out there eating grass and chewing on sticks, and I often wonder what's in inside those bellies of theirs. But
It's
I've
great.
had
It's great.
I've had some of my dogs eat foil, so
Yeah,
seen that movie come out the other side.
yeah.
And so there's all sorts of stuff that goes on, and so you've developed these and made them so that you basically put, what is it, a few teaspoons or scoops that come provided with it, depend upon the weight of the dog.
Mhm.
And so that just you can, I guess, sprinkle that over the food, and they'll take and get into it.
It's very simple. It's just a powder.
Hmm.
And that powder is relatively attractive to the dog. The dog has just a curious nose, it's just very, very interested in, oh, that's something new. Even if it doesn't smell good to us, that dog, he's like, I want to try this. And so we've
Hmm.
had very good success with people giving us feedback of, yeah, they readily like to eat this stuff, or in some cases they won't eat their food anymore without this stuff on it, whatever. But it's just a powder, and like you said, we provide a simple scoop. Look at if you know roughly the body weight of your animal, you can figure out how many scoops to feed it. So it's all tailored, customized as much as possible for your pet, because again, your pet is unique, and we try to do that as much as we can with these products. And that's why we have multiple products, not just one product. We have multiple products, and we'll have even more than that, to address issues as time goes on. And it's all about trying to transform that microbiome into a healthier microbiome as the underpinning of whatever the condition is that we address. So in the case of moods, certain things are going on in the brain, and there's a certain pathway involved that we really try to accentuate with some other actives in that product. But underpinning that is to have a good gut situation, to have this, what they call gut brain axis, in the right position, if you will, within the body. So.
Definitely. And the senior products, and probably I would imagine the mobility products, have like different things to help with joint care.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, we are not ignoring the gut. We get the gut right. So there are pre, pro, and postbiotics in that one. We also have
Mhm.
digestive enzymes for a senior, specifically proteases, to help them break down the proteins to help with their muscle mass. Something called sarcopenia, or muscle loss with aging that
Mhm.
occurs. And so we want to accentuate that. So there's proteases involved. There are certainly, joint actives in there, like eggshell membrane, which is a highly active joint product ingredient that is frankly under-recognized. Another one that's more recognized perhaps by your listeners is glucosamine. We also have that in
Mhm.
that product. But seniors also, just like us, have experienced a lifetime of aging, and so cells in our body, in our dogs, in the dog's body, are also under assault. And so we put in extra level of antioxidants into that product,
Oh,
because
wow.
that pulls out some of the what's called the scary things, the free radicals that are going around and damaging DNA. And that's the predicating moment in terms of developing a tumor or cancer.
Wow.
And so we want to trap those free radicals sooner, so they don't the pet doesn't meet its demise earlier than needed because of cancer or what have you. So.
There you go. I've seen that a lot with cancer. I had a dog we hospice care with anal sac cancer for a year and a half. It was interesting, and it was more than interesting, but I'm just going to frame it as interesting for now, because I don't want to break down crying in the show. But it was interesting. What eventually got her was her arthritis and hip dysplasia.
Yeah.
She probably would have survived the cancer much longer, but the hip dysplasia is a big thing for older dogs. Their hips, their joints, start to hurt. They're walking around on all fours all day long. My dogs love it when I come up and I'll rub like their joints or their knees or something, and
Yeah.
they're walking around on all fours, man. And there's a lot of joints going on, and they're always running around crazy doing stuff. And so joint care, body care, the stuff you feed them. I feed my dogs better, what I think is better dog food that I possibly can. I spend a lot of money to it. Some people don't. I mean, the worst thing I think most people can do, if I can do a PSA, is buy store branded stuff that you buy at, your grocery store.
Mhm.
It's usually better to go to like PetSmart and Petco, and even then there's better places you can go or order to get good food. But a lot of people don't make that investment. So supplements like yours can kind of add to maybe a better experience for maybe what they're not getting in some of the lower branded food that people don't want to pay more for.
That's exactly right. And again, it goes back to being tailored and customized for your pet.
Mhm.
You mentioned very specific issues that your pet had, like the joint issue. So the mobility product that we have contains not only this super joint ingredient called eggshell membrane,
Mhm.
but it also contains glucosamine, chondroitin, and MSM. And
Mhm.
underpinning that, as with the other products, are these prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics to help get the gut right. Why do I care about that when it's a joint issue? Well, because if the gut's not right, you can actually get bad stuff moving into the bloodstream, and
Oh
that
yeah.
those bad things, whether probiotics or other toxins, get in the bloodstream, and they settle into the weakest areas of the body. In this case, an inflamed joint. And so we want to
Mhm.
get the gut right, as well as put on these other actives directly for the joint health, Chris.
There you go. And you sell versions for puppies, adults, and seniors. You have it broken down. People can go to your website and they can see how that works. Um, the I know you have a subscription model, or you can just buy the pack. Excuse me. You can just buy the packs.
Bless you. Yeah, it's either way. Certainly, it's convenient for a person just to sign up and just let it go on auto ship, and then they get the products. But if you need to get an extra product here and there, or you want to try something, you can also get them as singles. The other thing we try to do that's really critical is emphasize the packaging. And it's like you think, well, who cares about the packaging? They're not eating the packaging. Well, the reality is that packaging is really important, because we've got live probiotics in there. We've got digestive enzymes. These are very, very exquisitely sensitive ingredients. And if we don't package it correctly, then those things won't survive and they won't be active. You're just basically paying for nothing if I don't do that. So we've set it up to have good packaging. And the starter kit actually comes with a jar. A black jar that's kind of convenient. You can leave it on your counter. It's got a sealed lid, so you can pour out the pouch into that jar, make it a little easier to scoop out every day when you're giving it to your pet. So that comes along with the starter kit that you get free as part of that subscription model. So
There you go. Now you've been a 30-year career scientist for pet food. How did this get started? You grew up in a family farm.
I did. Yep. Grew up in Minnesota, west central Minnesota. We had raised cattle and
Mhm.
sheep as well as corn and soybeans. I looked at the cow and I thought, Chris, it's amazing that she can eat this grass that, I can suck on it or chew it in my mouth, but it really doesn't do anything for me. But she can turn it into something really palatable, and very nutritious too. I might add, beef has been demonized in a lot of ways, but it's actually a very, very healthy source of nutrition.
Mhm.
And so then I thought, well, I'm going to study this further as part of my college experience, and went up from my bachelor's degree onto a master's degree in ruminant nutrition, feeding cattle, and then also ultimately into a PhD in nutritional science, where I studied. Get this, it's a little bit unique, in the world. There's not a lot of folks out there, but I actually have a PhD with dog and cat nutrition.
Oh,
That
wow.
that was the subject of my thesis research. A lot of people, study human nutrition, or they study, livestock or whatever. But I actually did it with pet nutrition, and I'm just so happy because it set me up for a career of really studying, pet. And so that's all I've done, Chris, is I'm a pet nutritionist from day one in my career, and throughout. I've never deviated from always trying to, improve myself and improve, pets' health. And that, my friend, is the ultimate goal of what I'm here to do, is to improve dog and cat health. That's it. I mean, I believe the rest of it will flow. I've been very blessed in my career, and I will continue to be blessed. I think if I just keep focused on that central mission, because you said it best. I mean, you're like, I don't want to get into that because I might have some tears coming. You know what? These guys are it, right? For many of us, it's just there's so much emotion that goes involved, that we're invested in our pets, sometimes even more so than maybe some of the humans around us, and
Yeah.
and so I just want to make sure that people have access to ways that they can really better their pets' health. So
And it's hard to think about, but you have to remember they're with us a much shorter time. I don't know what the average pet life is, but I think it's roughly maybe 10 years. I've been lucky; mine have lived up to 16. Uh, the 14 to 16, and I'm running with my second set of dogs. But a lot of the stuff that you talk about and that's in the ingredients here is stuff that I take for me.
mhm,
And if it's good enough for me, it should be good enough for my dog. The only challenge is like here's one of my chondroitin pills.
right.
It's quite large, and if you've ever had to give dogs pills, it's not the most funnest thing in the world, and they don't like it. And so what's nice is it's a great powder, and I've been using it. I've been sprinkling over their dog food, and they're huskies, so we just kind of
Cool.
let them graze. Throw some dog food on, or throw some. The dog food sits out all the time, and the thing, and they just come by. But usually when I sprinkle it on, they go over and they'll clean it all up. So they seem to really enjoy it.
Cool. Good.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you've got that experience. So we've had a lot of people say the same thing, and even put it on a plate by itself, and they'll scarf it up just because they're interested in the smell and whatever. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, it makes it nice and palatable. Because I've had to give there's nothing worse than trying to shove one of these down your dog's throats for medication or something for a surgery or things. And they just do not like the experience. I've tried, coating it in peanut butter, wrapping it in bacon, or getting those pill things that you put the pill in the little doggy treat. And they're always like, yeah, we figure out what you're doing. They'll eat the treat and spit out they'll lick the peanut butter off the pill and then spit the pill out. It's just
yeah,
infamous what my dogs have done to get around taking pills. But yeah, and I'm the same way. I hate taking pills. But yeah, just being able to sprinkle it on. We put on the dog food so far. They seem to really like it. And I've got two of them, so I got to figure out how to make sure they each get a thing, because I think whichever one I sprinkle it on, the one goes and licks all the sprinkled stuff off. So I may need to make two bowls or something. I'll have to figure it out. But the one's older. I think the one's like 8, going on 9, and the other one's 5. So the 5-year-old still got that spryness about her, and the older ones, you can tell she's slowing down. She's starting to
sure.
wear a little bit. Her moods. She's a little bit more moody. Which if I was, what is it, 8 times 7, 56? Wait, that's how old I am next year. Uh, I understand now why she's kind of moody and ornery. But it's good that they have these mixtures, and they seem to like it, enjoy it, and it's easy to apply. it seems like there's a lot of great stuff in it. That I just recognize because of some of the stuff I eat. There's yeast culture in here. I think I saw some different like green sort of stuff that's good for green health biotics and stuff like that. But just good bacteria that can help them eat better, digest better, and probably live better when it comes to vitamins and things of that nature.
That's our whole goal. I mean, and that's one of the beauties of the powder form. You can buy these chews, Chris, and whatnot. But I decided early on I wanted to work with powders, and the reason is that all of the actives are in there. I mean, with the chew, you have to create a matrix that can hold, whatever actives and make it powder, blah blah blah. I bypass all that and just put all the investment, if you will, from our end, from a cost point of view, it goes into actives, and something that I think is going to help that animal perform better in whatever the case might be. And so, you're getting nothing but the good stuff for your pet. And that's my goal, is just to keep it simple, and yet address the pet from the myriad of needs. You don't have to worry about trying to figure out, do I need to have glucosamine or this or look, I've had 30 years of experience in this industry. I have a PhD. This is all I've done. I wanted to really, use this knowledge in a way that can help pets' health. And so I'm hopefully taking care of a lot of this for you by doing the research, understanding what's available, selecting not only which ingredients, but also suppliers. The supply source of these different ingredients is important as well. And so I'm very choosy about who I work with. I want to look for ethical suppliers, people that I would trust, because it's not just my pet that gets this, it's your pet, it's other people's pet too, Chris. And, what we put into that product is really, really important to me. I hold it to very high standards. So
there you go. Well, thank you very much. The dogs seem to enjoy it, and that makes me happy too. And just knowing that I'm investing in their health, there's nothing worse than when, you lose a dog and you think, God, if I would have done this better, maybe if I would have maybe fed them better food. Cancer is like such an ugly thing, and it happens to so many animals. There's other parts of the thing they break down. We've actually saved a lot of animals with some of the advice that I learned from my dog, putting them on raw diets and making sure that they're getting good, high quality food. And we've actually saved some dogs and extended life. I mean, my husky had anal sac cancer. They gave her 3 days and said, go home, come back in 3 days, and we'll call the ball. She lived for a year and a half because we switched her to a raw, high fat, low sugar diet. And if you understand cancer, it worked. And I've had a lot of friends that have come to me and said, my dog's going through this, or there's kidney failure or some sort of other issues. I'm like, what are you feeding it? And they're like, feeding it like supermarket crap, dog food. And it really does make a difference. I mean, they're just like us. What they eat makes a difference in their lives.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And you did it right with the cancer issue there. When you're minimizing carbohydrates and sugars, that's absolutely the right strategy for that animal. And there's just so much other stuff that goes on with those creatures, just like ourselves. So the more we can tailor what the product is for the animal, customize it, make sure it works, and feed it to the right degree and so on, the better off your pet will be.
There you go. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Sunvold, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. So good to be with you, Chris.
Yep, lots of fun, and make your dog healthier, man. Because I mean, dogs are like the one thing that give you unconditional love in this life, and they're just I call them little fur balls of love, because mine are husky, so they're giant fur balls and furs everywhere. But they just want love and attention and spend some time with you, cuddle up with you. I mean, it's really all they want. Maybe some good treats every now and then, but throw the ball. But they're just wonderful balls of love. Take care of them and enjoy. Give us to .com so people can find you on the interwebs and order the products.
Sure. Yeah, it's sunglacial.com, sunglacial.com.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We certainly appreciate you guys coming by. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, and TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.